does it right there.
Metal loses its attraction to magnets at 1425 degrees. We want to bring this metal up to 1500 degrees right before we quench it in oil to obtain hardness.
No magnet, no magnet. Right here at the back still.
I do this at night so I can keep a good close eye on the color of the metal to make sure it's pretty much the same temperature all the way across where I want the heat treat to take.
If you're wondering, yes, that fire is very hot. Somewhere I lost my phone. Alright, all the way along this sharp edge, I have no magnet. We're almost there. We want 1500 degrees. Want it even on both sides.
I wanted to use my coal forge instead of my gas forge to do a differential heat. That way it's just heat treated on the blade edge only.
Well, we got the knife tempered after we had it in the forge and brought the sharp edge up to 1500 degrees. We quenched it in oil. Then after it cooled down, I put it in the oven and cycled it for an hour at 400 degrees and let it cool all the way down. And that just softens it up just a little bit. Doesn't do a whole lot, but it does soften it up to where it isn't like this file. I mean, it's a strong, but it's not as brittle. So how we check our hardening, we're going to use this file. And we know this part of the knife, the handle part, we didn't heat treat. And you run that file, and that file just bites right. I mean, you just barely hold it. You could feel that file just bite right into that steel. Across here, it won't bite in at all. I'm pushing down trying, and it's not. It's just gliding right off of there. That's how you know this surface is hard. This surface, no, it's got a little soft file bite up here on top, which is exactly what we wanted. We wanted a softer spine and a hardened, sharp edge. So we're going to get this thing cleaned up, and we're going to clean up the blade and get ready to put handles on it and finish up this project. Remember, I told you I was going to dip this thing every pass I made after it came out of heat treat, and I wasn't kidding. Every pass after heat treat. As you can see, we're taking a lot off real quick. I got my 36 grit on there, and I want to make sure that this blade does not get hot spots in it where we tempered it. It'll ruin it. You'll have to start all over. Well, you can see we got this side done. It's right down to where, just about right on our center line. So I'm going to get the other side, switch it over here, get to the other side now, and bring it right down to about our center line. Then I'll switch over to 80 grit and get everything nice and trued up and get our sharp edge on there.
Didn't figure you needed me to tell you how to hand sand, and didn't need to hear me talking the whole time I hand sanded. So yes, I do a lot of hand sanding. Here I'm using a 120 grit belt to put an edge on the blade. This is a very sharp edge. And notice I dip it in water to keep it cool. After I get done with this, it'll go to an Arkansas sandstone, and we'll be done with that edge. Now I'm taping up the blade so the blade doesn't get all scratched up and so I don't get cut.
Okay, well now we're going to cut this out. No easy way to get around it. You're going to have to use a saw, whether it be a handsaw, a jigsaw, bandsaw. Bandsaw would be nice. I don't have one. Putting the Markita in the vise, you want to be careful not to bear down real hard or you're going to snap it. Maybe I can get it away. I just gotta come in here and just do it. And yes, I'm wearing a mask, so if it's hard for you to understand me, that's why. I'm gonna get a little closer over here. I don't want to snap this. That would upset me since I don't have any more.
I'm using my grinder with a 120 grit belt to shape these handles. I prefer using 120 over 80 grit just because it's a little easier on the handle material.
Okay, I don't know if I've said it, but the most important edge right now is this front edge. And that front edge goes from here all the way down to here. Anything beyond that, we're not going to worry about because we can get to it after we're glued on. Because I glue my handles on prior to shaping them all the way. Actually, this will go on this side a little more. And the only edges we can't get to are right here along the front. So we want to make sure this is all nice and sanded and ready to go. So when we get done with this, we don't have to worry about going in and laying down tape and trying to sand it without the tape and, you know, take care of the front edges first. Make sure they match up. Because if you've got edges that look like this on your knife, or, you know, one's thicker than the other, or whatever the case may be, you don't want that. You want them clean, and if you don't sand them, they're going to look like that, totally different. This one needs to be sanded. This one's already a little sanded. This one's nice and smooth. This one's really rough. It's really easy to sand this. It's really easy to grind it. It's really easy to do anything. Put a piece of sandpaper down, hold it in your hand. This is 320 sandpaper. And it's taking it down. I believe it's 320. We better look. It is 320 sandpaper. I still have my mask on, and I will for a while because I do not want to breathe this stuff at all. Okay, so we're going to match up the handle of our blade. We know that this edge here is going to go right like so. It comes right down to this point right here. So we're going to come in here and we're going to make a mark with a pencil. And I can kind of see where that is. Can you see that mark? Yeah, I think you can see that mark. Okay, so I'm going to try and do this left-handed so you can kind of see what I'm doing. I've just got a grinding stone. I'm in here making up some good scratch marks. I'm going to go right out to the edge where I drew that pencil line. I got to do this right-handed though. I'll come right out here. Right on the edge. And then just dig some lines in there pretty good. I'm doing this so the glue has something to grab a hold of. The adhesive I use is really good, but you got to give it a chance. You got to give it something to stick to. I get around the pins real good. Make sure there's no burrs sticking out, which I've already pretty much deburred them, but just make sure you don't want nothing to make a lift in your handle. Give it a place where air can get in there and not seep down flat. This side of the Markita, same thing. Out here close to the edges, just come in here and just groove it up. And I just put a couple pieces of tape down here and use it as a little mixer. That way when I'm done with it, I can just throw it away. And get right out here, right along the edge. And don't be ridiculous with the glue, but don't be stingy with it either. You want to get a good amount of glue on there. You're going to lose a little bit. It's just, you don't want to put a whole bunch on here and just have it all go to waste. Just want to make sure you get a nice coat across the whole thing. You want it all the way right out to where the handle's going to be, and then I just kind of pull it back a little bit. It will clean off with the stainless steel where it's smooth, but not real easy. Of course, if it came off easy, it wouldn't really be worth having, would it? Sorry about that, you know, I screwed on you. Place this on here like so. Right where I want it. I'm going to squeeze it for a second. Go around, check. Make sure it's right where I want it up front. Make sure it's oops. It moves so easy. So I'm going to put my clamp on here now. I'm going to run my clamp just snug. Just where it just bumps it. Make sure that it's right where I want it. Scoop out just a tiny bit. This is harder than wood. Wood doesn't fight you like this. Markita, so slick.
Okay, so now I'm drilling out the holes in the Markita. The two pins are 3/16 and the tube is 1/4 inch. Now I will glue the other side on and do the same thing on the other side. Drilling through this side to make sure my holes are straight. And then I'm going to glue these pins in this tube. I've already roughed them up with sandpaper so the glue will get a good bite. I'm going to drive them through the Markita into the metal, and that way they will secure the handles to the knife.
Okay, so our glue's set up overnight. Everything's looking real good. I'm gonna, first off, we're gonna get rid of these pesky little posts sticking up the sides. Keep dipping this in water because brass gets hot so fast, and we do not want it to melt out our glue. If it melts out our glue, we're going to lose our handle. Now we're going to start shaping our handle. I like using my grinder because I have the flat here, I have the wheel, I have a flex point in my belt that I can use to take down edges just about any old way. Then we're going to move over to our drum sander and take care of the finger holes. And now back to the grinder. Notice I am wearing my mask. You do not want to breathe this stuff. This Markita can put off a bad gas that you breathe and can make you very sick. Notice I'm getting in there and getting the edges real good. I want to make those nice and round and comfortable for the hand. Hand sanding is probably the least favorite for most people, but I like doing it. It gets you right close, personal to project. You can feel every little part of it with your fingers and your thumb, and you got the sandpaper right there to take it down and make it as smooth as possible. Because any little flaw that is in that handle will be felt in your hand or into your customer's hand. And it just makes the whole project look like you didn't really spend a lot of time on it. Hand sanding is a huge part of knife making. Alright, our last step is to polish. The only polish I use on the canvas Markita is the white rouge. It gets in here and it makes it shiny, but yet it still has the canvas feel. Just comes out excellent. Makes it look just beautiful and still has good grit. This part of the procedure can be very dangerous, because if you get your knife in just the wrong position and it hooks into that wheel, you could end up stabbing yourself in the leg or in the chest, or pulling the knife through your fingers. It can be real bad, so be extra careful anytime you're using a buffer. Well, we got her all done. I really enjoyed this build. It was fun. Interesting shooting a video for it. I hope you enjoyed it. We got 2 more things to do. In part 3, we're going to make a leather sheath for it, a nice one. It's going to be a little different than any sheath I've ever done, so it should be an interesting journey. And then we're going to engrave our signature in this one.